We are pleased to welcome Robert Griffin III to the show, and in the upcoming NFL draft, his role as a cover athlete on the EA Sports NCAA Football 13 video game. Wow, that was a mouthful for me. Tell us about it, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Tell us about your cover. Yeah, tell us about your cover thing.
Yeah, I mean, with the EA Sports cover, I get the chance to be the cover athlete, but I'm not the only one. There'll be, past Heisman winners that also get a chance to be on there, but it's up to the fans to vote on who that is going to be. All they have to do is go to facebook.com/EA Sports NCAA Football, and that voting starts on March 12th, so it's up to the fans to decide who else is going to be on the cover.
Congratulations on a fantastic career at Baylor. Now you're ready for the next level. Certainly you've got to be pleased with the raves that you are receiving nationwide of your work at the Combine.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good about that. Whenever people are talking good about you, that means you're doing good things. So I'm glad they're saying that I did a great job at the Combine and not saying that I was extremely bad at the Combine. I went there, did what I was supposed to do. And now I just got to make sure I go and perform well at my pro day.
Robert, outside of running the 40 and the vertical jump, what other tests did you engage in at the Combine in Indy?
You know, everybody sees the workouts, but they don't see the other 3 days where we're having to, go through medical exams, do drug tests at 4:30 in the morning, and, stay up from 4 to 11 at night and not get very much rest for the next day. So when you take all that into account and see the guys still go out there and compete at a high level, whether it's throwing passes, running routes, or running 40s, it's really impressive.
How did your interview go with the Browns?
The Browns interview was great. They got me on film, had me describe a couple of our plays to them, understand what our concepts are, our protections, our progressions. And, I feel good about what I was able to do in that meeting and all the rest of the meetings.
Who was in on that meeting, Holmgren and Shermer?
Yeah, Holmgren and Sherman were there. The OC Whipple was there. And, I was excited to meet all those guys. I mean, it's not every day you get to meet Mike Holmgren, the guy who coached Brett Favre.
Did they talk to you about fitting into what they have implemented here in Cleveland, namely the West Coast offense, which you didn't run at Baylor?
Yeah, I mean, there's not very many college offenses that are running the West Coast. But that's why you step up to the next level. You got to learn a new offense, and it doesn't matter. To me, it won't be just the West Coast offense. It'll be the Browns offense if I get, the privilege of getting drafted by the Browns.
So was there any discussion of you being incorporated into that system, or them meeting you halfway to fit your unique style and talent?
I don't think any NFL coach would ever meet a player halfway, with his offense. But what they can do is implement plays from your college offense or things that you did really well in your college offense and implement them into the offense. So that's what they're looking to do. They're trying to, work your strengths and increase any of your weaknesses and make them your strengths as well. Robert,
did they talk to you any about almost exclusively at Baylor running out of the shotgun rather than being under center?
Contrary to popular belief, we did go under center, 40% of the time this year, as opposed to previous years where we'd be mostly shotgun. So I do have experience playing from under center, doing all the drops and making all the throws. So I'm excited about, going out and showing people that, and it's not that hard.
What do you know about Cleveland, and what do you know about the Cleveland Browns tradition?
Well, I know one thing, the Cleveland Browns fans are extremely crazy, really rowdy. Some have compared it to a college-like atmosphere, so it doesn't matter how many games they win or lose, the stands are always filled. And, that's what I'm excited about, going to a fan base that's going to be excited about having me there. There's many of those around the league. But as far as the team goes, they need a quarterback. They need a guy that's going to inspire them and motivate them to go win championships, and hopefully I can be that guy.
The climate here in late November and December is a little different than what you were used to in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but, that's why we adapt as humans. They have this little thing called evolution. And if you live somewhere for long enough, you'll get used to that weather. So no matter how cold it is in Cleveland, if that's a team that falls in love with me and wants to draft me, I'll get used to the cold.
Beautiful. You want to turn that program around at Baylor. Hopefully, if the Browns draft you, you can do it here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also what helps me. I have that experience in trying to help turn around a program. It's all about changing the atmosphere and the culture at that program. But I also do know that I can't do it alone. I need not only the coaches, the GM, and the owner, but I need those players to also buy into that and help me out in that process.
Did they talk to you about supplying you with the proper weapons?
Oh, I mean, you know, teams have weapons. I mean, there's no NFL roster that doesn't have a great set of guys on it. So if they just drafted me and put me on that roster, then I'd be more than willing to work with the guys on that roster. But if they want to go out and draft other guys to help out, I mean, the more help, the merrier.
What are you looking forward to in the National Football League?
Oh, you know, I'm excited about that, coming into a team, you know, trying to get to know the guys on that team, the veterans, and really just, you know, gel with everybody and add that next piece that they need to push them over the top. So, you know, I'm excited about that. I'll be ready for it. Coaches are doing a much better job nowadays of adjusting their quarterback's strengths and trying to work him into their system rather than just trying to just throw him into the system and saying make it work.
Any specific expectations in the upcoming 2012 season, which would be your rookie season?
I mean, as a competitor, I think you want to go in and start. You want to go in and make your mark and be the leader of that team. But if you go to a team that has an established starter, and not just an established starter, but a guy that's been there and done that, kind of like a Peyton Manning or a Michael Vick, then you're not mad about holding that clipboard for a year. You can still go in and compete, but it's not something to be mad about.
What about a team? Your thoughts on a team, and there's a lot of talk about it, moving up in the draft to be in position to take you?
You know, nowadays it's a little bit easier to move up in the draft and acquire those picks, but I don't think it should be a Herschel Walker type of trade where they're giving up 4 or 5 guys and 5 or 6 draft picks. You know, St. Louis, they don't need that pick, but, you know, that's not for me to decide. That's for those teams to decide. And if they decide to do that, then I'll work that much harder to help that team be successful.
Final question for you. You strategically wanted to wait for your pro day to do your throwing. A comfort factor?
Yeah, I mean, it was a comfort factor, and it also helps out the other guys that are coming out of Baylor. Get more scouts here to watch them perform and help them in their stride to be NFL players as well.
Real quickly, Kendall Wright, quick comment on him because the Browns have got to look at receivers as well, Robert.
Oh, I mean, Kendall Wright's great. I mean, the 4.6 that he ran at the Combine is not indicative of his speed and the way he plays. So I'd love to play with him again. If there's any way any team that drafts me could get him as well, you know, I'd definitely co-sign on that one.
And you're a fan of the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of the Denver Broncos. Obviously, it'd be pretty tough for me to get drafted by the Broncos, so I can kind of mark that off. But Tim Tebow and them are doing a great job up there. I fell in love with John Elway, Terrell Davis, Rod Smith, Ed McCaffrey, Tom Nalen, guys like that. I can name them all day, but I really liked them when I was growing up.
Thanks so much for giving us the time. Best of everything to you in your future, and hopefully this is the first of many interviews with us here in Cleveland.
All right, if that so happens, I'll be talking to you.
Thanks, Robert.
All right, peace out.